In the year of 1776, the 13 American colonies were fighting to gain their independence from the British Empire, which was ruled by King George III. The battle cry of the Patriots was no taxation without representation. The American revolutionists believed they deserved a voice when deciding the taxes and laws that were imposed upon the colonies. If you lived in a time where you were told what to do and how to do it, would you be willing to risk your life for a chance to gain your freedom? Ned, a young boy living under the King's rule in 1776, is faced with this problem. Listen to the story of when Mr. Jefferson came to Philadelphia, What I Learned of Freedom, 1776, by Ann Turner, and decide if you would make the same decisions as he does.
What did I know of freedom, of all the wild talk of independence that summer of 1776? I was just a boy with jug ears who tried to stay out of the way. Mama told me our new lodger was an important man, but when he came to stay in our house that May, what I saw was a tall, scrawny gentleman with sandy hair, all flyaway, humming as he turned his horses into our street. When Mr. Jefferson saw his rooms, he said,
"I like the fresh breeze from the windows."
I hoped he would be happy here, for all these important men coming to the Congress in Philadelphia meant money to us. Maybe a new cap for me, or new shoes for Mama. Mr. Jefferson rose early the next day. When I brought up his water in a pitcher, he said,
"Thank you, Ned. Did you know it is 68 degrees this morning?"
He showed me something called a thermometer that tells how hot or cold the air is. I could see he liked to measure things, to know the beginnings to a day. As he left to go to Congress, I asked, "What do you do there, sir?"
"We meet to debate freedom, Ned."
"And what will that mean for us, sir?"
"That we will be our own masters, and that mad old tyrant, King George—"
"Sir," I interrupted, "is that not treason?"
"I do not care,"
he said loudly.
"We will not let them treat us like disobedient children anymore and tell us what we can and cannot do."
Papa says the penalty for treason is being hanged by the neck until you are dead. Wasn't Mr. Jefferson afraid? That night when I checked the locks outside, I looked up and saw his light burning, and Mr. Jefferson writing. "Are you not tired?" I asked him the next day.
"I am never tired when writing of freedom. It is like a fresh breeze from the hills, Ned."
How could freedom be like a breeze? I knew we were already at war with Britain, and I thought freedom might be more like a howling wind that sets a town on fire. One night, when I brought him supper, Mr. Jefferson asked,
"When you are older, would you fight against the king, Ned?"
I was silent for a moment, and he added,
"So that our colonies can be free and independent, no one could put unfair taxes on us, no one could keep foreign soldiers in our towns and cities."
But I was afraid. What would happen to Mama, Papa, and me? So I answered, "Maybe, sir, maybe."
"There is no turning back now, Ned."
He gripped my shoulder.
"We have declared our independence, and free men will always win over tyrants."
I learned more that summer when we went to the square to hear someone read the Declaration of Independence. That was what he had been writing, those nights with the candle burning. The words were learned and hard, but they soared up and down like music. Men and women tossed their caps in the air and shouted,
"Death to the tyrant!"
Even Mama gave a little yell. There was a wild feeling in the air, like a fierce wind blowing. Was this freedom? The words made my skin shiver up.
"Behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal."
And suddenly I knew he was right, and had always been right, and we were cowards not to follow from the start. Then I heard something underneath those words, like the beat of a drum. It called to me.
"Freedom, freedom, freedom! It's coming fast, it will not stop. Be ready, Ned. Be ready."
Although America declared its separation from Great Britain with the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776, the American Revolution lasted 8 years. It began with the Battle of Lexington and Concord in 1775, and finally ended with the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783, when Great Britain recognized America as an independent nation. Thousands of men lost their lives fighting for the freedoms that we now enjoy every day. The soldiers who fought in the Revolutionary War decided that the promise of a better future for their families was worth the price of their lives. If you were in Ned's position, would you be willing to risk your life for freedom just like he was? The famous words of Thomas Jefferson, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal," are words we still must work to live up to today.
Death to the tyrant!
Like a fierce wind blowing.
Stop it! I didn't do anything! I didn't do anything!
Oh my gosh! Okay, we gotta have to do that again.
It's so funny. I don't even know why.
Okay.
I didn't do anything.